So what has just been spotted is so unbelievable. Even though it's Kamala Harris, it's actually still surprising. And so what it turns out is, it turns out that Kamala Harris has stolen a story from MLK. That's right, Martin Luther King Jr. himself. So people spotted this similarity. It's very bizarre. So in this Elle interview with Kamala Harris, this is the title. It says Kamala Harris is our new vice president elect, the woman who will become vice president on the fight for justice and freedom she's been waging since birth. This is recent, October 6th, 2020. We are now on January 4th, 2021. And here's how it starts out. It's very interesting. It says, Senator Kamala Harris started her life's work young. She laughs from her gut, the way you would with family, as she remembers being wheeled through an Oakland, California civil rights march in a stroller with no straps with her parents and her uncle. At some point, she fell from the stroller. Few safety regulations existed for children's equipment back then, and the adults, caught up in the rapture of protest, just kept on marching. By the time they noticed little Kamala was gone and doubled back, she was understandably upset. My mother tells the story about how I'm fussing, Harris says, and she's like, baby, what do you want? What do you need? And I just looked at her and I said, freedom. I'm just going to let you to take that in for a second, all right? She was sitting in a stroller, all right? And she falls out and her mom asks her what it is that she wants. And she says, freedom. It doesn't really sound very plausible. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. Also kind of bizarre that it's as few safety regulations existed for children's equipment back then, and that she fell out of a stroller and nobody noticed. It's very bizarre. It doesn't sound very plausible. But it gets a lot worse, because it turns out this story right here is straight up stolen from Martin Luther King Jr. himself. So this is a interview with Playboy right after he got his Nobel Peace Prize in 1965. And if you go to the bottom of this interview, here's what it actually says. This is MLK's response. So what he says is, I never will forget a moment in Birmingham when a white policeman accosted a little black girl, 7 or 8 years old, who was walking in a demonstration with her mother. What do you want? The policeman asked her gruffly, and the little girl looked him straight in the eye and answered, freedom. She couldn't even pronounce it, but she knew. It was beautiful. Many times when I've been in sorely trying situations, the memory of that little one has come into my mind and has buoyed me. So that story actually makes sense. It's actually realistic. You're saying a little girl, 7 or 8 years old, responds to a cop saying freedom is what she wants, which is, not a correct way to pronounce it. But that's actually a believable, legitimate story there. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, is like some sort of mutation where it takes a very believable and genuinely like uplifting and inspirational story and a sort of hope-raising story. And MLK is explaining, this is a story that keeps me going even when nothing is going right. We're trying so hard and nothing's working. I remember that and I keep it in my head. It's a really great story, totally believable story, very inspirational, very real, very genuine. And then Kamala Harris lifts it, steals it, lies, and transforms it into her own, which her story is not plausible and doesn't make any sense. But again, it's so fake. And that's the thing about Kamala Harris. She is so fake. Everything she says is made up. When asked about who she thinks the best rapper alive is, she said Tupac. Tupac is dead. He's not alive anymore. And she didn't name any artists after that. Everything about Kamala Harris is just so fake. It's unbelievably contrived. And it's, quite frankly, it's disgusting. And I'm starting to understand why Joe Biden picked her as vice president, because I'm sure that, who knows, maybe Kamala Harris was with Joe Biden when he went to visit Nelson Mandela in South Africa, in prison. He attended maybe she attended the protest with Joe Biden. There were probably, who knows? Maybe they killed Hitler. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Maybe they, I don't know. Maybe they told Abe Lincoln to free the slaves. What else did they do? I don't know. All this kind of crazy stuff that they just make up. They're both pathological liars and just completely insane, super fake, making up lies. Maybe Kamala Harris ended the Vietnam War. I don't know. What else did she do? I mean, wow. Just lifting all these crazy stories. And it's disgusting because it's really disrespectful is what it is. I mean, stealing a story from MLK like that, that's so genuine, so heartfelt, it's just so uplifting. And then you have Kamala Harris just just ripping it off. I mean, oh my God, seriously, dude? Freedom? It doesn't even. Ugh, it's just so bullshit. It's just so bogus. Unbelievably bogus. I can't believe you fell out of the stroller, nobody noticed, and then you're like, I don't know how old she is at this point. Is she like 2 years old? How old is she being in a stroller? And she says she wants freedom. It's just, ugh, it's unbelievable. So Kamala Harris literally caught plagiarizing Martin Luther King Jr. And not only is it plagiarizing, it's taking something and making it significantly worse. Okay, and that, taking a story from MLK that's really, really good and just completely destroying it altogether by making it implausible, lacking any genuine feeling, lacking realness. And turns out just, oh man, she's just such a bullshit artist.